All right, so we're going to do a quick demo of the cater en place or cater in place, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's a play on the term mise en place, which in the cooking world is the technique where you set out all of your ingredients in amounts that you're going to require ahead of time so that you have everything where you need it when you need it. So that's the idea here with our cater in plus, that this program helps you to have what you need when you need it. That makes it a little bit easier. So let's go through this real quick. It's going to go through the process of how you use the software. So here we have a blank, open, available version of this. It's brand new. Uh, I haven't restored anything or backed anything up from this, so there's nothing in here. We have no ingredients, no recipes. All the settings are pretty basic. And we have nothing in here that we can choose from. So we need to populate it first. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a recipe. So we could go in and put our ingredients in directly here, but we also have the ability to just put them in when we input new recipes. This is the fastest way to do it. But if you're a completionist and you want to just start with ingredients, you're welcome to. You can put more information in here. When you add ingredients, you would just go in here and then enter all of the stuff that you need to do. This is also available, the same dialogue you have available to you in the recipes. So that's why I'm going to just work through it that way instead. We are going to, you have two different ways you can look at this. You have two different versions of this, depending on whether you have the free, basic, or pro versions of the program. You can use the tabbed card version, and this will show up. I'll show you what that looks like later once we have some recipes. Or you can use the list view, and it'll just give you a name and categories. You can see that part already. Here it says select a tab, and it'll just show you the tabs based on what you input for the for the categories. And you get to determine what those categories are. They're not predetermined here. You type it in there and you'll have as many categories as you want. So you can make those subcategories or whatever. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a recipe. We need to give it a name. We're going to do peanut butter sandwich. Obviously not the most popular dish at the weddings that we typically cater, but we're going to start with something. So we're going to need, let's see, to make a peanut butter sandwich, you need bread. And you can see here, the program puts this little tag on it, a little colored highlight to let you know that this is new. And so we have the ability to go in here and put more information with it. We can fill in the source, where we would typically buy that. We can put in, it's going to default to each for this because that's what's here. Each just means, so we can do slices. We're going to need 2 slices for this recipe. You can set this to whatever you want, and it will pick it up when it saves it for the first time. Then we're going to need to add, we're not just going to use peanut butter, but we need peanut butter, obviously. And we're going to need, what, about a tablespoon or so? I don't know. I never measure when I do this, but it's about that much. And we're going to do, let's say, honey for our peanut butter sandwich. You can use jelly if you prefer. Obviously, your own choice. And I think a tablespoon of honey goes a long way. So let's see. We'll do 2 teaspoons for this one. Now, you have the ability in here. Let's give it a category now. You could work your way through this and eventually end up over there, but I'm just going to do this. We're going to do lunch. Let's say main lunch dishes. And this is how much it is for a single serving: 2 pieces of bread, a tablespoon of peanut butter, 2 teaspoons of honey. That'll give us a single serving. So we're going to enter 1 serving here, and then we're going to describe what it is that we're doing from the way that this all works together. Now, most people know how peanut butter sandwich is made, right? So I'm going to start with something though. We have the ability, and we've added some syntax here to help us later on. I'll explain why this is later, but right now it'll help us a lot. You click on this little question mark next to the directions. We have some little tricky, almost like programming text to put in here, little shortcuts. You don't have to use this, but it gives you the ability to, when you print out your prep sheets later on, you're setting up your prep work and organizing your kitchen and helping, giving things to your assistants or kitchen help, or whoever it is that helps you out when you're doing your catering work, your cooking work. You can add these things on there. So we have time markers, we have equipment markers, we have warnings, stuff to be careful about. We have the yield, so number of servings that you're looking for. And we have what we call the wall chart mode. In our kitchen, when we do this, we like to put big charts up on the wall. And so some of our helpers are a little older, like me. Eyes aren't quite as good. And it's nice to have some nice, big, clear, bolded text instead of, whatever's all in this entire step. Most people know how to make a peanut butter sandwich. We're just going to have one step in here. Actually, we're going to do two. Our first step, we're going to put a time amount in here. It's going to take you about 5 minutes. So we're going to put that in these curly braces. And then the equipment that we use to make this, we need a butter knife or a spreader of some kind. You can call it whatever you want. And that's probably all we need. And then for warnings, we want to remind everybody, remember, has peanuts. So that's an important thing to remember. And you'll notice as I'm typing along here, I wrote peanut and it gave me a suggestion. We'll talk about what that is in a minute. This is really nice because it helps remind you, oh yeah, I want to tag the ingredients to this specific direction, because if I tag ingredients to a direction, when I set up later on, when I set up my prep tasks, I can I can assign directions to those tasks, and any ingredients that are tagged in those directions get associated. It gets pulled up there as a pull list, so you'll know exactly how much peanut butter if you're going to make it for 50 people. And I'll show you how that works here in a minute. But it's pretty cool. So we'll tag our stuff at the end. You can tag it here in the middle if you want. You can tag it at the end. So if I click on that, now I've got peanut butter because it's reminding me as I'm typing. Here's our peanut butter down below. But I'll go through and tag the rest of it in just a minute. So, like I said, most people know how to make peanut butter sandwiches. So we're going to say, make peanut butter sandwiches. And then if somebody doesn't understand, so then I put in the double colon tag, which makes it wall chart mode. And this one's pretty straightforward. So I can also put in here the yield amount. Whoops. Yield. See how it says there, right up here, it says type yield in the double curly braces to insert the number of servings from the weekly menu. So it's going to say, be sure to make this number of peanut butter sandwiches. Make peanut butter sandwiches for boop, servings. Or my phone keeps chirping at me now. All right, so I've got all this stuff in there to help us. And then you put the rest of the stuff in here. Spread peanut butter on one side of one piece of bread. And obviously you can make this as verbose as you like. You can make it as descriptive as you want. Spread honey on the other, on one side of the other piece of bread. Then place the honey, put the honey and peanut butter sides together to make a sandwich. It's like an elementary school exercise. So notice it's getting too big to fit here. So if that's bothering you, you can increase the size of this by grabbing and pulling on the edge of this little text box. We want to make sure that we have all of the amounts of stuff. And we're done using this now for the moment. So we'll close that. And then we can see we've got the three ingredients. So we're going to go into the tags here. We're using all three ingredients in this one direction. And then the last one is we're just going to type for this step, serve, let's see, cut in triangles, because that's how everybody likes their peanut butter. Well, I mean, squares or triangles, right? You have to decide. Then serve with napkins. Oh, and I forgot to include napkins. So we're going to go up here and we're going to create a napkin. And then for this, we can tag napkins with that direction. So hopefully you're seeing how this works. Pretty simple, straightforward way of doing this. And again, just there's always the reminders here to help you remember to tag your ingredients. So if you plan to use all the features of the weekly prep planner, be sure to link ingredients within your directions. If you don't link the ingredients to the direction that the ingredient is mentioned in, when you get to the prep board later on, it's not going to be very useful. I mean, you'll still be able to use it to set up your prep, and it's way nice because you'll see how it works in a minute. It's very helpful, but you'll miss out on having the pull lists, the equipment lists, and then being able to print all that stuff out and have it clearly identify to your helpers how it all is going to work. All right, so we've got this all put together. If you want, you can tap here and you can add an image of a peanut butter sandwich. I don't have one, so I'm not going to put one in there. But all you have to do is tap in there. You can search for where your images are, add an image, and then boom, you've got your recipe. So we'll save that guy. Here's our peanut butter sandwich. Oh, and I told you I would show you later. So here's our tabbed card. If you have the pro version, you can use this version of it. And it shows up here as a tabbed card, just like you would in your old-fashioned recipe cards. It's got the little card on it. And notice it's main lunch dishes, which, if you remember right, we talked about how you got to decide the names of these. So you could change that whatever you want. You can organize it however you want. So let's go now we'll go look at the ingredients. This it doesn't have very much filled out because I decided to go the quick route. But if you wanted to, you could go in here now to the bread. You could put in there. We also have density categories. Doesn't work really much for bread because it slices. But if you have something like honey, for example, honey density category is a syrup, right? Not water, flour, sugar, oils, and fats. It's more viscous. So we're going to put it in that syrup category. Now, when the program does conversions, it will account for the density of honey in teaspoons if it were to go from teaspoons, for example, to a weight measure, like from teaspoons to grams or ounces. It'll account for how dense the material is, and it has a modifier on there to help you to more accurately go back and forth. And if somebody's curious about that, I do have the numbers for that somewhere. I don't have them in the program right here. You can put in here where you normally get it. We normally get ours at Sam's Club, let's say. And I'm going to put this stuff in here a little bit because it helps. I'm going to put all those things in, but we'll go through and we get our bread typically. There are a lot of ways we get it, but let's say we get it at Smith's is our local version of Kroger, but we'll put Kroger on here. Napkins we'll get, let's say, from Cisco, and actually and so you can see it starts to make a list for you. So you can select from your existing list. Now, Sam's Club is kind of a big store. So maybe in here you want to have dry goods as an option. So we want to be more specific. See here, we want to be more specific with our honey. So we're going to do shelf stable. So now we have Sam's Club shelf stable and Sam's Club dry goods. How about that? And then our peanut butter. So this really helps. We're going to do shelf stable again. And this really helps because I can choose, first of all, I can be totally customized on my locations where I'm shopping and stuff. But second of all, so I'm not causing myself to have a million different categories every time I try and type it in there. Here it is right here. I can select from the list I've already created. And then boom, now I have two things at shelf stable Sam's Club, one at Kroger, and some at Dry Goods. You can put any of your suppliers in here. If you've got Cisco, we use I have a particular butcher for our specialty stuff. We have some cheese vendors that we use for certain stuff. You can put all those things in here. And this is pretty fun. So now we're going to go, we have a recipe we can use. We have ingredients. So now we can go to our weekly menu and we're going to do, let's say, Friday, we're doing an event. Here's our main lunch dishes. We're going to select our peanut butter sandwich and we're going to make a bunch of these. We're going to make, let's say we're going to make 75 of these. So we're going to add this then as a menu to our menu for Friday. So Friday gets its menu here on the Friday menu. Our item for the Friday menu is peanut butter sandwich. And you can put as many recipes in one day as you want. We only created the one here, but you can put as many in there as you like. Now that we've got that all set up, here's our menu for the week. We're going to do an event where we're doing 75 peanut butter sandwiches. So let's go look at our shopping/ordering list and see what we need to do. Okay, so we have on this list 150 slices of bread. We're going to go to Kroger to get that. We have 75 napkins. We'll go to Sam's Club to do that. Now I know if I go into my dry storage at my kitchen, I know I have that. So I'm going to say, oh, I already have napkins, so I can select that from the pantry. Honey, 150 teaspoons. I don't even know how much that is, right? So I have the ability to select it here and change that. So I need to know that in ounces. So I go back to teaspoons. 150 teaspoons is about the same as 25 ounces. I also have a feature in here. If I go back to my settings and I select the smart unit conversion here, which is a pro feature, when I go back to my ordering list, and now it'll give it to me in different amounts. It'll give it to me in pints and quarts. It'll automatically upscale those amounts for me. Now, I don't want them in volume. I prefer to have this in, let's see, it's in quarts, and I want to have it in ounces because it's easier for me to keep track of, but that's the basics there. And these numbers will shift just a little bit because of the way that these density figures, these things factor. So I should have done that on the peanut butter also, because that's going to be kind of in this area, I think. And then here we go. Ounces, ounces. There we go. That works out about the same. All right. So there you go. Now, I want to make these things, right? So I can take this, but you don't want to take your whole computer. This is pretty much designed as a desktop app. You can take your whole computer, I guess, if you want to, but the easier thing is to print the list. We have 3 different exports. You have 2 different kinds of prints, and you have the text file. And when you print it, it pretty much looks the same. The way I've got this shared, it's hard to see. Let me switch over the sharing. So if we look, here's what it looks like. The basic printout looks like this. The what we call the theme print has the colors of the currently selected theme. You have 7 different themes to choose from in the from the basic level up, and the basic level looks like this. So you can see the theme print has some color in it. That's kind of a fun thing. Then you have one other option, which is pretty straightforward for people who know what they're doing, but not everybody understands how to use it. So this is a pro feature, and that is to export the text file. If you click on that, the program will generate a text file that you save. And after you save it, then you can take that, you go find it on your computer, and you can put it in other programs. Like if you want to dress it up, if you want to import it to another app to turn it into a checklist that works better on your phone or whatever you want to do, all that's fine. We typically just print these out and go with it because it's pretty straightforward. And then we can use this to do our ordering and to do our shopping. It helps us keep track. Then you can go into your weekly prep. And you can see here in the weekly prep board, the way this is laid out, there's nothing here when you start. But the nice thing is you click on add day and you're going to say, okay, so when am I doing my prep? So I have the day, let's say my event is next week on, what did I say it was? It was Friday. So we're going to say it's next Friday. So next Friday, we're getting ready to prepare for next Friday. I'm going to make peanut butter sandwiches on Thursday. I have plenty of time to do that. The station, so you have 3 levels of organization. We're going to use, this is going to be at our, we're going to call it our sandwich station. You can make this anything you want. You can make it different appliances. So sometimes we'll have a Cuisinart station for our food processor, or we'll have the stove station, or you can have your cutting station, like your dicing and vegetable prep station, or you can have we would often have a chicken station because that has to be handled a particular way or whatever it is. But you can call these whatever you want. We're going to add a sandwich station. You have the ability in this to create custom directions. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then you have your regular recipe directions here. We're going to add then to our sandwich station, we're going to add a task. And the task, you click on that, and that creates a container that you can put directions in. So think of tasks as this is the group of things that I want you to perform to your employee, to your helper, whoever. You're going to give them a short list of things to do. And you can break those up however you want. Like I said, we call these tasks. Now, we kept it really simple for the design of this. So in order to get the directions from the recipe directions palette here into the task box, you have to select and make it active. See, and it'll label it as active and it changes color. And you go down here to the peanut butter sandwich direction, you click on it. The first thing you'll notice is everything changed in that. So originally you had all that goofy typing that I put in there when I made the recipe. That stuff all turns into these cool things. So I put that 5 minutes at the beginning. Now it's a little time box. Big notification. It has peanuts and it has what we called the wall mode. And it tells us to make peanut butter sandwiches for 75 servings. It's right there. So we're making 75 peanut butter sandwiches. There's 150 slices of bread. There's our amount of peanut butter and our amount of honey. It's all here. And then the equipment that we need to use is that butter knife / spreader. So all the stuff we need is in here. Then the cut in triangles and serve with napkins, we're going to save that till the next day. We're going to put these in the fridge and save them to the next day. So we need to make an additional day. The day we're serving them, we're going to do this Friday morning. So we'll make a new task on Friday. Just very simple, cut in triangles, serve with napkins. We could have put, oh, you know what? We should. Now, this is a fun thing. If you want to make changes to your recipes, it's really easy to do. You go in here and we want to cut in triangles, serve with napkins. We're going to make that what do we call it? A wall chart mode. So we're going to do that, save the recipe. And if we go back now to our weekly prep, now cut in triangles, serve with napkins is large, expanded so it's easier to see on the printout. Oh, I put that on the wrong day. All right, here's another fun thing. So all we have to do, we put it on the wrong date. We're doing this the 17th, not the 10th. Switch that to that, save it. And now that whole thing moved to the correct place. Really fun. Okay, now we're ready. We've got all of our tasks set up for the week. Now we need to, oh, we forgot cleanup. So we need to make a new task. Oh, that's above. We're going to clean up after we're done. So let's hit this little arrow and that'll bump it. Oh, that's right. We're going to create a station for cleanup. You can move these up and down. If you have separate tasks outside of stations, they don't move up and down. All right, so in here, we need to create a custom direction to do dishes because that's not going to be in any of our recipes. We'll add that here. Again, select this to make it active, and then boom, now we have do dishes in our cleanup section. There's probably going to be more dishes to do over here, so we'll add another task. These we can move around because they're both just tasks. There's no stations here. And we're going to select those to edit and add the do dishes there to remind us that needs to be done. Now I've got this little bar up here. There are a lot of ways to slide back and forth, but this way you can move through the days in your prep cycle. There we go. Now we want to print these things out. Just like with the previous prep printing features in the shopping ordering list, we can just click on these things. So if you click on print, it will pull up the print dialog, and this is what it'll look like. Share this over here. This is the basic version. You've got that. You can see has peanuts, make peanut butter sandwiches for 75 servings. There's your pull list. This is everything for, and then here's our cleanup. Then Friday the 17th, cut in triangles, serve with napkins, and don't forget to do the dishes. All right, that's on there too. Makes it a lot easier to keep track of everything. Notice I didn't have a time on this one. You don't have to. Something else we'll do with that time is we'll talk about how many days before. So what your hold times can be on your different things. So some things will last longer than others, right? Some things have to be done day of. Some things can be done a few days in advance. So we'll use that same time indicator in the directions to do that. So we're going to go back over to our main program, and I'm going to show you what the theme prints look like. And this theme print looks like this. So you can see it matches that lovely blue, what's called the ocean theme. I'll show you the different themes here in just a sec, but it's the same thing. It's just a little prettier. I actually mostly designed that because my wife really likes to have color in her printouts. And I thought, oh, I've got color in the program. Why not make it fit? And it turned out really kind of fun. So I've got a bunch of different options here. I'll show you in just a minute. But the first thing I'm going to point out is once you get to the end of preparing for your prep week, when you're getting ready to do the next set of events. For us, we're on a treadmill every summer doing weddings all the time. So we just go week to week to week to week, and it just go, 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 go. If that's the way you're going, that's great. When you get to the end of doing all your prep stuff for that week, you can handle this a couple of different ways. So you can then, just to be safe, once you get everything set up, if you hit backup data, then you save it. I don't know if you can see that. It may not show up in this, but you'll just find a place to put it. It names it menu planner backup, and then it gives you a date and timestamp. So you can always see what the most recent one is. Then you'll hit save. And then here it'll tell you when your last backup was. And this one was right now, I'm just working on this. It's almost 7 p.m. where I am. And that's, April 9th, almost 7 p.m. is the last time it did it. And then you want to save that backup, because that's the only way you know for sure where your data files are safely kept. You want to know where you're saving those. I usually recommend to make a file folder called backup or something. Then if you ever need, if you screw something up, now you can go through it, you can clear this out. This is going to clear your whole prep board, permanent deletes all days, stations, tasks, everything. Yep. Oh, dang, it's gone. I still have all of my recipe directions, because that's based on what happened here. Okay. That's based on that. But everything else is gone. So let's say you wanted to go back and make a change to something that was going on. You wanted to add sweep the floor or something here. If you want to do that, all you have to do is come up here to restore backup, find your most recent or whenever it was, and then we go back there and, oh, there it is, just the way we left it. And then you can make changes to it. So you have a lot of flexibility in saving your different weeks. If you want to try and do these at the same time, for some reason, some people have more complicated prep cycles than I do. You can do it that way. That's probably the best workaround for it. All right, but like I showed you, you clear this, and we can go in here and clear our weekly menu, reset for the next prep cycle. Now it's all empty, except we still have our recipes, we still have our ingredients. So you'll build your recipes and your ingredients over time, or you can do it all at once, however you want to do it. We did ours mostly all at once, but you can just fill it in however you like. And you have access to all of these great tools. All right, and I told you that I would show you the different themes. So this is the free theme that comes with it is this gray. We call it slate. The ocean theme is the blue one I've been using. Forest is green. Shows up with more of just a lot of different greens. Sunset, it's one of my favorites. I use this one a lot. It's got a lot of these reds and oranges. There's also rose, which is kind of a pinkish, a lot of pink things. Violet, which is a lot of purples. And then the dark mode, which is very dark. And it's good for low light conditions. If you tend to work in a dark office or at night, the dark mode can be nice. So there you go. If you have questions, come check out the website, www.caterenplace.com, and you can find all the pages there and everything you need to find out about. Send us a note, tell us what you like, how amazing, how fun it is, all of that stuff. And we'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope it was helpful.